Hey guys, for those of you that haven't seen my last video, I hit rank 1 Warlock after the first week of Arena, and my account had 0 losses, so I went 30 wins straight. And after the second week of Arena, I played 6 more games in solos, and you can see here I ended rank 1 again. Had to actually climb a bit because a lot of the other Warlocks climbed. But still have 0 losses. You can check my match history. Had a lot of close games this past weekend, a lot of 3-2s, but managed to win them all in the end. And I want to make a quick video to talk about my build and how it's different from the previous arena guide that I made in season 9, or was it season 8 maybe a couple seasons ago. So there are some big differences and I want to talk about them right now. So starting with the perks, we're going to run Torture Mastery, Vampirism, Anti-Magic, Curse Mastery. This is exactly the same as my previous arena guide. We're going to run Phantomize and Spell Memory. Nothing different there. But when we come to the spells, we're going to have a different loadout. So in my previous setup, I had Bolt of Darkness. You have your 2 curses. You have your Hydra. You have Curse of Weakness if you're running, Curse Mastery. And then Bolt. But my new build is actually going to run Flame Walk, and I'm going to drop the Bolt entirely. And the reason for that will make more sense once I go over the pieces. So on my helm, I have Knowledge, Vigor, Add Magic. Add Magic is your best stat, apart from magic healing, so I get it everywhere I can. I have a Grimville Cloak. This is by far the most expensive part of the kit. It's maximum rolled, so really nice cloak. On my chest, I have Agi, Knowledge, and Dex. On my legs, I have Knowledge, Agi, Dex. Gloves has Agi, Vigor, Dex. So you'll kind of see the trend here is I have Dex on almost every piece. My last arena guide didn't have Dex. I had a lot more Agi, but in this build, we're replacing all the Agi rolls with Dex, except in cases where we get both Agi and Dex because the piece already has a roll, like padded leggings already have Vigor, so we have an extra roll, so we can get both Agi and Dex. But for pieces that don't have a roll, like Lightfoots, we prioritize Dex over Agi. So what that's going to do is actually give us a lot higher action speed than my previous build. We are going to be a bit slower. Health and cast speed should be roughly the same as my previous guide. But what I found is that instead of, cursing up targets and then shadow bolting to finish them off, I want to rely a lot more on Crystal Sword and take advantage of being a melee threat. Because when you put Curse of Weakness on someone, not only do you lower their defense, you lower their action speed, and you're also healing a lot from your curses. With Curse Mastery, the duration's longer, so instead of just kiting them, you can actually just pull out Crystal Sword and trade a couple hits before you have to Phantomize. Or if you have a Cloak, Grimville Cloak, your Cloak procs and you don't even need to Phantomize, you can just walk away. So this Cloak is really, honestly, pretty pay to win on Warlock. So taking advantage of a boxing setup with high action speed is super smart. That's the main reason why I wanted this Cloak. So why do we care about action speed and boxing? Like, why don't we just spam Shadow Bolt and kill them, right? The issue is, in Arena, people are going to run at Warlocks, and they don't really care if you're Shadow Bolting them, because classes with high magic resist, like Barbarians, they're just going to run at you. Fighters with shields, they're just going to block the Shadow Bolt and run at you. You can't really kite them that well, even if you have a lot of Agi. Like, maybe you can, but, you're not really carrying your team to victory like that. But with high action speed, you can transition between kiting and melee really fast. What that means is you can pull out your Crystal Sword and you can start meleeing at any time during the kite. So when you start kiting someone and you're cursing them up, they don't know how long you're going to kite. Maybe you might keep running and then turn around, curse them again, keep running. They have no clue when you're going to stop kiting, pull out your sword, and then catch them off guard, because, when people chase you, they have their fists out. Sometimes they have torches out, lanterns out. A lot of times you can get a free hit because of all the action speed in this setup. And then after you get a free hit, you keep kiting. So you can see in this clip, for example, that's exactly what happens. I'm being chased, and, you know, I pull out my crystal sword when the bard, you know, is not expecting it, and I kill a full HP bard in a 1v2 situation. And if I have shadow bolts in this situation and low action speed, I would not be able to kill this bard. So being able to threaten blocks is really insane. Now, book has magic healing, cast speed, magic resist. Weapon has some add web action speed, magic resist. We do have a lot less magic resist in this setup, but it's not a huge deal. There's a lot less wizards in high elo. There's almost no sorks. It's really a melee meta right now. Tons of fighters, barbarians, bards, rangers. Really, I'm not too worried about having less magic resist. Especially with the wizard changes. Wizard does a lot less damage now, so it's really, you don't need too much magic resist anymore. Magic power is 13%. A lot of people ask me what my magic power is, and I don't build any will. I don't build any magic power. You can see on the book, instead of putting magic power, I went magic resist. And the reason I don't build magic power is because Warlock has very low scaling on their spell damage. So the way it works is you take your base spell damage, like 15 on Curse of Pain, and then you multiply it by your magic power percentage, right? But if your initial base number is low, like 15, it's pretty low, then it doesn't matter how much magic power you have. Like, yeah, some people build like 30%. That's not even giving them a single damage increase on their Curse of Pain. It's like decimal damage increase. So it's pretty bad. What we can do, though, to raise our damage is build additional magic. So because Pain has 1.0 scaling, every add magic roll adds an extra 1 damage to our Curse of Pain initial hit. And then the damage over time also adds an additional damage at a 50% ratio. But if you look at things like Hydra projectile, this is also a big source of our damage. It's 10 base, 1.0 scaling. So 1.0 makes add magic good, but magic power bad. Because the base is so low. Flamewalk does 5 base, 1.0. So magic power almost has 0 impact on your Flamewalk damage, but add magic has a big impact. So you can see, and then power sacrifice doesn't scale at all. Doesn't matter what add mag you have, what magic power, it's always 3 damage flat, and then, you know, the resistances can lower it. So magic power doesn't do much for our build. And just to further prove that magic power isn't necessary, I can look through some of my games, right? So, okay, here I played with a wizard. He outdamaged me significantly, but, you know, this is one example. But let me look at some other games. Here I have a wizard. I do about the same damage, less than my fighter. So I'm doing decent damage. Here I play with Foxman. I do almost double his damage. Then that's probably one of the best wizards in the game. Here I have Cody on my team. Very arguably the best ranger in the game. I do almost double his damage. So you can see, like, from my games that, you know, this game I did no damage, but, you know, it was just like 5 melee classes brawling. I didn't really get to do much. In games like this, I spam weakness a lot when melees are boxing each other, so there's a lot of hidden value you get from, you know, applying weakness when your melees are fighting enemies, and you're not going to get any credit for that because weakness doesn't do damage, but definitely your melees will definitely appreciate that. So here, another game I played with Foxman, did more damage than him. Cody's on the enemy team, so you can see my damage is roughly in line with the best rangers and wizards in the game. Here I have Buto on my team. Buto won the Warlord tournament, so he's one of the best rangers in the game. I did 250 more damage than him. Outdamaged the enemy Warlock by double. So, I mean, just to show that, you know, even with how little magic power I have, I'm still doing damage. So I see a lot of people ask about magic power. It's really not important on TM Warlock. Some people will debate me on that. I think it's simply, it's just math. Like, maybe if you ran Bolt of Darkness, you can scale your Bolt with, you know, some will. But even Bolt, 20 is not crazy high. You know, if you have 3 will on a piece, that's not even adding 1 entire damage to your Bolt, you know? You need 5 will to add a single extra damage on Bolt. So 1 add match is equal to 5 will on your bolts, but on your pain, you know, it's more like 1 add match is equal to 6 or 7 will in terms of damage, or even more because it has 2 parts. So you can see, like, add magic is what you need. 90% of your damage increase on Warlock comes from add magic. The magic power is like an extra 10% maybe, but instead of magic power, you can build so many other stats, right? We can build health, we can build move speed, we can build action speed, and cast speed. Being able to cast fast helps us kite better, apply our curses like weakness, apply curses on multiple targets like you see in my videos, and then you start taking advantage of your sword, boxing people out, and that's where your pressure comes from. Another big thing about doing damage on TM Warlock in general, not just this build specifically, but is dropping your Hydras. I see a lot of Warlocks, they don't really use their Hydras very well. Don't forget, like, you know, once you have a lot of curses rolling, you have a lot of health, so feel free to redrop your Hydra, even if the old Hydra hasn't, you know, despawned yet, just so your Hydra has a better angle and it's constantly hitting people, especially when I'm fighting cleric teams and they're constantly healing. The way I rack up crazy amounts of damage against clerics is I drop Hydras all the time so that they're constantly hitting something. And Hydra damage is very significant. So each projectile has its own scaling. If all 3 projectiles hit, that's applying all your add magic times 3. So it's pretty crazy damage. But yeah, that's it, guys. I don't want to make this video too long. Quick little build guide. Take advantage of the high action speed. Threaten your melee, and then transition to kite, right? So do both. So that's the build. I'm going to flash over the pieces real quick too. Very standard enchants. Nothing too crazy going on. You can see my final numbers on health, action speed, move speed, and cast speed. Try to hit something like that in your kit if you can buy one. Or get close, and no, try out this playstyle, try out this build. I've had a lot of success with it. I also got a new PC this wipe, so, you know, my FPS went from like 70 frames to 300 frames. I don't know if that's making a difference, but certainly feels like it. Feels like I can hit my curses better with, you know, such high frames. But I don't know, might be placebo. Who knows? Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I want to do another video on high roller build. So, been playing a ton of duos. I have a ton of loot in duos, just farming the server. So, I'll do a separate guide on the high roller setup. It's similar, not exactly the same. There's some big differences for the high roller build. So, that'll be a different video. Alright, thanks for watching.